Hi, I'm Mark from Build Small Engine. Today we're going to be working on a Hustler SuperZ Hyperdrive zero-turn lawnmower. We're going to sharpen the blades, change oil, change all the filters, and just check everything out, make sure stuff ain't wore out and stuff. So hope you enjoy the video. Okay, I'm going to jack up the front end so we can get to the blades. And if you have a big zero turn like this, and you don't have like a cherry picker or something, at big box stores and at a lot of lawnmower dealers, they got them little hoists that you put on the front tires and that raises the front end up a couple foot so you can crawl under there and get to the blades. Okay, and I'm gonna take all these covers off, inspect the belt, make sure there ain't no cracks in there, make sure all the idler pulleys are spinning freely, and we're gonna shake the blades and make sure the bearings in the quill assemblies ain't getting wore out and stuff. We'll do all that to the front. Now these Hustlers are real popular in this part of the country. They're built like tanks. Bring this camera over here, and that one's on there tight. And just check your deck wheels and make sure they're not wore out, about ready to fall off and stuff. This particular Hustler, the grass gets discharged out the back, so it's a 3-blade system. Like, I won't be able to get the camera under there to show you. Just 3 bolts, take the blades off. But when I get the blades out, I'll show you. There's one that's a reverse blade. It goes opposite of the other ones, and that's what gives it the ability to shoot out the back. That way, it won't be shooting rocks out the sides. Everything goes out the back in between the 2 back wheels. But I just want to check all the idler pulleys, check the belt, make sure there's no cracks in there. Yeah, a bunch of rocks on top here. They know if it was a side discharge chute, it probably would have shot into someone's car window or something. But I'm gonna get this all cleaned out. Everything looks good on this side. But I'm gonna blow everything out. Then I'll crawl under there and take the blades off, and I'll show you the blades. I'll show you what I'm talking about on this. Then on the tires and stuff, there's Zerks on these tires here, so we're gonna grease the 2 front tires. But there's no Zerks. Like some zero turns have Zerks on these pivots where there's bearings. There's a shaft in here and there's bearings, so these tires can swing around. Some have Zerks, these don't. Probably more likely they're good sealed bearings. We'll do that on this side and the other side. I'll go ahead and pop them blades off real quick. And on this side over here, just want to check everything. Check the idlers. Everything's good. I got this side all cleaned out real good. Then before you crawl into these big zero turns and stuff, there's a lot of weight here. I got my jack stand here before I crawl into there. And like I said, there's a Zerk here and a Zerk on the other tire. I'm going to grease them real quick. So let me pop these blades off. Okay, I just got done taking the blades off, and there's Zerks on the bottom parts of them blade quill assemblies, so I greased them all up. I'm going to go ahead and grease these front tires. Make sure you wipe the grease off the top of the Zerk. Give them plenty of grease. I'll show you that reverse blade real quick when I'm done with this. Make sure everything's all lubed up. So here are the 2 regular blades. The one that, as you're sitting on the lawnmower, the left hand one and the center one, like this. And on the right hand side, see, it's opposite. That's what makes the grass through go to the back. It's a rear discharge system. So I wanted to show you that. And usually on Hustlers, the reverse blade is always red. So I wanted to show you that real quick. So I'm gonna go sharpen these real quick, and we'll start on the motor next. Then on blades, when the ends are starting to go have that round edge to them, but when they get dull, they're just start leaving strips. So the next time this guy comes in, I'll tell him he's gonna need new blades because they're starting to round off. They'll be good for a while once they're sharp, but once they get dull and really tall grass, so we'll start leaving a strip. So this one's a reverse blade, so I'm going to put it on this side of the grinder. With normal blades, they're going to go on this side of the grinder. So until it got beat up a little bit by rocks here and there, but I have a nice sharp edge on that one. I'm going to use the other side for regular blades. Okay, I'll get these put on and we'll head to the back of the lawnmower. Okay, right down here is our drain for engine. It's a 10 millimeter. Okay, we'll go ahead and let that drain. A little fun fact on these hustlers, these big hustlers, with the cooling fan for the hydro fluid. These fans right here. Well, over on the side over here, there's a couple fuses. And if you start these things up and about a minute later it blows a fuse and it dies, you need to replace your fan. It's a little fun fact. That'll save you a lot of time and money trying to find somebody to check all your wiring stuff. These fans do go out. They keep the hydraulic fluid cool. But when they go out, they burn out that fuse and the motor just stops. So if that ever happens to you, replace your fan. Okay, the oil's draining. So let's go ahead and take the... And that is dirty. That is dirty. I should have one. Let me go see. Okay, this inside filter, when you buy the good ones, they come pre-oiled. That's foam inside of that plastic netting there. There's, you can see by the shininess there, but they spray air filter oil on them. So on a lot of the commercial lawnmower air systems. Okay. Now we can pop the spark plugs out. Take the boots off here. Alright, we'll grab some spark plugs real quick. Get them gapped here. And while we're doing all this, you want to inspect your hydro pumps, inspect the hydro lines. If you see some wet areas, especially when you're mowing, there'll be a pile of dust or something in a pile. The dust will go on the leaking oil and everything. And this side over here looks really good. All the lines look dry. As you're doing some, always look around. Just check everything out. And these great big industrial lawnmowers, you know, other than heavier frames and bigger hydro motors and pumps and everything, they're basically just like any other zero turn where you can do all this yourself. You don't need to take it into a dealer. Save yourself a lot of money that way. Then everything on these big Kawasaki engines, on your voltage regulator, that big power wire that goes to it, make sure that's tight. If it has like a loose connection, it can arc and it actually can burn out them voltage regulators. So make sure that big power wire is nice and tight. And I'm looking back here at this hydro pump and stuff, and all the lines look nice and clean and everything. That means nothing's leaking. Them plugs are due for changing. The oil still drip a little bit, but let that drip really good. So that oil's really black. When I get these plugs done, I'm going to throw a new fuel filter on it. And we'll take the oil filter off. And we'll put brand new oil in this thing. And should be ready to go mowing tomorrow. And if you don't know your spark plug gap, like each motor is pretty much different. On the book, when you got your lawnmower and the motor book, it should say in the book what your spark plug gap is. There's a lot of different lawnmowers and brands that all have different gaps. Just go by that. Okay, now I'm gonna go grab a fuel filter real quick. And the fuel filter's right over here. All right. Now we look inside your filter, see if there's a lot of dirt and stuff in there. If there's a lot of dirt there, that means you have a lot of dirt and stuff in your tank, but I don't see nothing out of the regular on that. A little bit of dirt, but not much. Yeah, let's go back over this other side where the oil filter is right by the drain plug over here. There's our dipstick here. Look at all that crud on there. It's been a while since they changed oil on this thing. Look how black that is. Grab a new filter. And always clean that ring off that the oil filter seals onto the motor. You don't want no dirt on that. Grab a new filter. Just hand tighten them. That oil's just still drip a little bit. I'm gonna let it drip some more. Make sure you get most of it out of there. Back in a little bit. Okay, I tightened up the drain plug down there. You gotta make sure they're snug. You don't want to over tighten them, or else that cone shaped end, you'll put a ring around it and it could start leaking. So just make them snug. You don't want to over tighten them, but you don't want them too loose that it'll drip. Go grab some oil here in the funnel. Got some nice fresh clean oil. I got 2 quarts here. It just depends on what engine you have on your lawnmower. Put it in your book on the motor itself. It will say the capacity. And we got the funnel in there. When I get the oil in there, I'm going to start it up, let it run for like about 30 seconds, and I'll check the dipstick. That'll give it time to fill the oil filter up and everything. You don't want to overfill them, because overfilling them is just as bad as not having enough oil in there. Okay, we'll let that drain out of the funnel there. As we're doing all this, just look around, make sure you're not missing any bolts or something's cracked. Or pull the dipstick, put the dipstick in. And we wiped it off already, so it's nice and clean. And like I said, I'm gonna start it up here, let it run for about 30 seconds. Grab a paper towel. That sounds a lot better than it did when it came here. Grab a paper towel. And this has an oil cooler on it too, so and it's right on full. That's what we want. So if this didn't have the oil cooler on it, it'd probably take between a little over a quart and 3/4. But a lot of these industrial commercial motors have the oil coolers on them and everything. Well, I'm going to start up, take it outside, and then engage the blades. Make sure everything's working good. Oh, one more thing before I get too carried away. Check the air pressure. I checked the air pressure front tire already. I'm going to check the air pressure in the back tires. You got to have them equal so you can guarantee yourself a nice level cut. And on these 90% of the tires you get, it'll say the max pressure on the tire. These here, I'm going to run about 20 pounds. It just depends on your lawn. If it's like really bumpy, you know, if you knock a few pounds out, it'll be a little bit smoother ride versus a nice smooth lawn. Pretty close. That one had 18, this one had 17, but they're both at 20 right now. Always got to check your tire pressure, especially when you're mowing and your lawn looks uneven, like one side's cut lower than the other. Normally it's the tires, you know. Sometimes you might have a bent bracket holding the deck up or something, but 90% of the time it's a low tire. Well, there you go. You know, lawnmowers either big or small, they're basically the same things. And if you own one of these big old tanks like this, you can just as easily get, you know, change oil, sharpen the blades, check everything over yourself, and save yourself tons of money. Anyways, appreciate you watching the video. If you like my videos, please press the like button and please subscribe. Anyways, you guys have a good evening now.